What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today's video will be talking about Ryan Day and the Ohio State Buckeyes finally getting it done and winning the national championship. Now, this happened last Monday, and the Ohio State Buckeyes beat Notre Dame in a pretty entertaining game, actually, which I did not think was gonna be. And they went out there and they looked like the best team in the country, and they beat Notre Dame. Jeremiah Smith had a great game, and Ryan Day can finally beat the allegations of not winning a national championship, which has haunted him. Now, all he has to do is go out there and beat Michigan, which I think is a lot easier to do. But Ryan Day, he solidified himself. There's a lot of rumors about him getting fired. I mean, I could just pull up all this stuff about him potentially moving on after this year if they didn't win a national championship.
Roster, $20 million, $20 million. That's who you had. You came into 2024, everybody talk about national championship. How many NFL caliber players did they say stayed at Ohio State for this upcoming season? 11. You got 11 cats that were considered NFL caliber players. You got a $20 million roster. The mandate, Cam, is to beat Michigan and to put yourself in a position to win a national championship. If Ryan Day, and I'm not saying the man can't coach. I'm not saying the man doesn't deserve to be a head coach. I'm talking about Ohio State. If this man gets bounced out of here this weekend, if this man ends up, he got to go.
When watching Georgia under Mark Richt, he had several top 10 finishes, but in the big games, you never felt they got the most out of the roster. And that's exactly how I feel about Ryan Day, is that he can recruit like Richt. He's a nice guy like Richt. But those Georgia teams never had an identity. They just had really good players. Even when they had, like, I think Matt Stafford, they would have moments and you'd be like, oh my, this team's the best in the country. And they won a lot of big games. He won 3 out of 4 games he coaches. And Ryan Day wins 5 out of 6 games he coaches. But they have no identity.
Now, Ryan Day and Ohio State, they put a lot of money into this roster, this team, so it's not surprising that, people were very frustrated when they lost to Oregon, when they lost to Michigan. That's kind of expected when you lose those type of games with the roster that they have. They brought in Judkins, they brought in Caleb Downs, Will Howard. That's a good enough roster to win a national championship, and I was concerned for a little bit that Ohio State was potentially wasting that talent. But after the Michigan game this year, it really revamped them, in my opinion, and made them hit another level. In the postseason, they dominated Tennessee, they beat Texas, they beat Notre Dame now. They beat everyone that they're supposed to beat. And I love it. I love that they competed. They beat Oregon as well. I forgot them. So they just handled business. They looked like the most dominant team and the best team in the country that ultimately had to be woken up, and Michigan did that. I mean, losing in Columbus at home to Michigan was a wake-up call for that team. And I remember, the stories that Ohio State is trying to, have grouped up player meetings, coaches meetings to really get this thing on track for the playoff. And they looked like the most focused, best team out there, honestly. I want to give credit to Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame. The run that they went on in the playoff was pretty incredible as well. They beat Indiana. They beat some really solid teams. I mean, I have to give them credit. The Penn State win was great as well. So they battled their way to this national championship game. And I honestly didn't think that Notre Dame was this good of a team. And they competed in this game. Now, they ran away with it, Ohio State, at one point, but the comeback effort was great. Notre Dame, this team that they had this year, was really easy to cheer for. They're very passionate, and I think their passion and their chemistry and their togetherness really gave them the opportunity to compete in a national championship game and win some close games. I mean, they had to win some of those. And I think Marcus Freeman did a hell of a job this year with a lot of injuries as well. So I got to give Notre Dame credit. I think they competed their tails off. And I think Marcus Freeman, I think there was some concern after they lost the game earlier this year to a very bad opponent. I think everyone kind of freaked out and were like, is Marcus Freeman the guy for Notre Dame? This is such a passionate university, and to lose a game like that was huge. You don't lose games like that at Notre Dame. But you really turned the ship, and they were just dominant from that game on, to be honest. So I'm very proud of what Marcus Freeman has accomplished at Notre Dame, especially this year. And I think he can build a national championship team, which I haven't been able to say at Notre Dame. And I honestly didn't think they were that good this year. Like, they really just came out of nowhere to me. I know they dominated teams in the regular season right after that loss, but they didn't play anyone spectacular, so it was hard to judge. But this was a really good team, really good defense, and I think they'll be very good in the future under Marcus Freeman and what he's going to do for them program-wise, the way he's recruiting, the way that he's such a players-led coach. I think he's in a great spot, and Notre Dame should be very happy with their efforts this year. And I'm really excited about that future there. Yeah, this was a big one. Notre Dame, Ohio State. Ohio State finally getting over that edge was huge. Now we look, the college football season's over. Now we're officially in the off season, supposedly, even though there's so much content and so much stuff constantly happening in college football. So it'll be interesting to see what teams are going to look like. Like Ohio State, what are they going to return? And who's going to be their quarterback? There's some interesting things that are going to happen in college football with some of these teams. We're going to have a lot of unknowns, like Georgia, like I said, Ohio State. So this is going to be a really fun offseason to cover. But that'll do it for me. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys next video. Peace.